Today, ladies and gentlemen, is day 4. War against misinformation. The Holness has declared it, and I am with the Prime Minister. We're definitely here to dispel all misinformation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I was listening to Anissa Belrose just now. Let me tell you something, Anissa. You must behave yourself. Yo, Anissa have to behave herself, bro. Oh, no, sir. Fully stressed out. Anissa, you have to behave yourself. You hear me, I tell you? Big up Anissa. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm live right now. Alright, join me. Whether you want to join me on Bolo VNR 2.0 or Bolo VNR Clips, join me, okay? Alright, so we just have to let them know. Boom. Alright, so we go some bops. So live. No, sir. Watch out. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. The war is on, ladies and gentlemen, against misinformation in Jamaica. I don't desire to be a part of the reason of spreading misinformation. So I want to be as on point as possible. Yes. Now we are going to fight this war against misinformation, whether it is foreign or domestic. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be the leader. And since Andrew Holness is the standard, according to him, he can't make no mistake, and he shouldn't be wrong, and he shouldn't be spreading any misinformation, and he should be very clear and cogent. So that, you know, the rest of us that listen to him, because he wants us to only listen to him. Yes? So if he wants us to only listen to him, isn't it fair? So many people. Isn't it fair, ladies and gentlemen, that Andrew Holness would be the one that is not perfect, because only God is perfect, but at a standard that is A. Give it a A-class standard, right? The Prime Minister of Jamaica. And now we see Marlene Malahou making statements that she want to reenact a libel legislation that would imprison people on social media and even the mainstream media as well. And the people and the media said no, 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 and no. But does that surprise me? It is my opinion that that lady is a witch. That's my opinion. She has a Jezebel spirit, in my opinion. In my opinion. That's my opinion. I don't know why. It's like she always comes up with these wickedness what she want to enact. Talking about bullying. When Andrew got declare war against everybody and let them know, say, him can find them and they can be tracked. When they lab rat them there overseas and I threaten people, so them are going to come down and lift up God. Why don't find them people there? Those people liable to get locked up, you know. That's a crime. Threatening people, that is a crime. Giving your opinion on somebody is not no crime. But anyway, we see where Andrew Holness get caught in a bad mind and he get exposed. Sophia, Wagwan, Sophia? Andrew, bad mind, Andrew. Remember when Andrew said this?
I see so many pictures of persons giving out packages, and it is becoming almost the in thing now on social media.
Yeah. him know the in thing, you know. A people like you package of the in thing, you know. Him know the focus, you know. Him know the spotlight, you know.
Everybody is giving out a package.
Yes.
No, I think in the initial days it's necessary, but I'm also very concerned about the dignity of our people.
And 2 days later, you reach our compound and I take picture and I do video. So where dignity there? Why you never do it quietly, Andrew? Antonio, what go on? Bless up yourself, you know. Everybody on the live, please remember the like button. Zine? Alright, good. So, as me I tell you now, Andrew. Oh, by the way, like I said, Anissa Bell Rose. Anissa Bell say the mannequin of finance. No, the minister of finance, Favor Williams. Hey, you know, so me I listen to where my virgin the name again, Triplex. And the man say, yo, you know say we need to learn to laugh off of ourselves. We take ourselves too seriously. Andrew, you take yourself too seriously. You're too thin skin. You need to learn to laugh off of yourself. And you, Miss Favor, Miss Marlene Malawu Fort, you're too thin skin. You need to start laugh off of yourself. And that's why you run up, boy, you want to lock up people. You have some dictator mindset. You don't want to lock up people with social media. Huh? You have some dictator type of people, man. You not believe in a democracy, man. You are wicked. And that's my opinion. You are wicked. You Andrew wicked. Straight up. Straight up. You understand? Come like you never go to school. You can imagine if phone thing. I mean, people would have just grow soft and no character. When they are at school, they have to deal with bullying. You know? So comes your adult, you can't deal with bullying. And when the people start to attack all their life and them way there. You see me I deal with, and I make check but they want to physically harm you. You have one thing named log off. Log off. You know, if you on the internet, you know, log off. You never know. You can't in your own space, in your own meditation, a link God Almighty. You understand me I say? And have that personal space there with him. You know, if you on the internet, log off. If you can't manage criticism, log off. You can't be a thin-skinned person on the internet. Just log off, brother. Log off. You have to have a tough skin, hard backbone. Colleen Wagwan. You have to have a hard backbone and a tough skin to stay up on the internet. You think a little thing them say about me? Them attack my size. Them say all type of thing. And so what? Now they are, oh, they attack my size. Grow up. Grow up. Like seriously? It's baby business on the internet, man. Crazy, bro. Hell wrong with y'all. And listen. But I come with them foolishness there, man. But I come with them foolishness there. Right? And then no one criminalize people. But terrible, brother. Let me hear what Jeffrey has said. Breaking news or go on.
This is MAGNITSKY breaking news. An item of news just coming in. The newly elected Prime Minister of St. Lucia has accused the Jamaica Labour Party of election interference.
What?
That's the newly elected Prime Minister
Hold
of St.
up.
Lucia has accused the governing Jamaica Labour Party of election interference. As soon as I get some more news, we will pass it on to you.
Wait. I gotta go. Whoa, breaking news. The newly elect, according to Jeffrey Tavares. Katie, what's up, my brother? And Jennifer, how you doing? Katie says, I was a big child my whole life, and I used to get teased about it. Bro, you have it. Bro, it builds character. That's what they call in America when they say roasting. You know what I mean? Nobody likes a crybaby, man. Stand up for yourself. You feel me? Talking about you want to lock up people. So you're gonna lock up bullies in school? You're gonna lock them up? That's not how it works, bro. Bullying, believe it or not, is a part of life that helps to build character. right? That there was something called a rites of passage for us young men and women, especially young men, in our tradition. You talk about a bully, talk about trying to slay a lion, talk about trying to slay a beast in the jungle as a rites of passage. Trying to slay a hyena as a young boy. These things are part of traditions of old, and some of those traditions are followed now because you still have these tribes and these things. So you talking about a bully? Come on, y'all are soft. On a soft, brother. As long as an individual is not putting their hands on you or threatening to put their hands on you, be a grown up. Grow up. This thing and this idea about a safe space, it just, I need a safe space. If you want a safe space, you go in the arms of the Lord. Are the only safe space that? There's no other safe space. The only safe space is in the arms of the Lord. Even with all of the laws that they put in place and they legislate and they implement all around the world, people still commit crime and people are still victims of those crimes. So this illusion in your mind that you think is a safe space, stop it. Yeah, if you have a problem with how you look and you want to take off some weight, do something about it. When you take off the weight, I have a six-pack, right? What am I gonna say now? Huh? Sometimes you need that motivation to start to take care of yourself and be healthy. Yes, sometimes you need that person to tease you, to say you're too big. Right? And you need that person to tell you, say, yo, your mouth stink. You need to brush your teeth. You need that level of honesty. That's not bullying. When you check your mouth and you see your mouth stink, you know, say, yo, you need to go do something about it to see that you need to go to the doctor because something wrong. Because if you brush your teeth and your mouth still stink, right? You need to go to the doctor. Something is going on in there. Right? If you're taking a shower and your odor is still high, something is wrong with your hormones. You need to go and see the doctor. Maybe it's the soap you're using, something. But you need somebody to tell you, say, no man, your brother, Zine, you need somebody to tell you. Sometimes somebody that is not your friend, and they're going to say it in a one way, where it's going to embarrassing, but I guarantee you, the right reaction to that embarrassment will you never be in stink again, and your breath will never smell again, because you don't have to go through that embarrassment there. Sometimes embarrassment is good. It pushes you and put you to the excel level there. So Marlon Mother Fort, stop it. I'm glad that the man then shut you down. There's a disgrace to legislation and legislators. Everything where you are push, right? Mongrel said, well, I need to contact you. Okay. Number is 876-451-6535. 876-451-6535. And why did you use, why you call yourself mongrel dog? Why you call yourself that? I hope you're not a sister or a lady, you know. I hope you're not a sister or a lady. Right? But anyway, people, we have heard that allegedly the newly minted minister of what's her name? Of St. Vincent, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent. We have heard allegedly that he's accusing the JLP of interfering with their elections over there. What? I mean, I need to see an article with that, so I'm probing right now on the demeanor. Haitian transition government. St. Lucia Prime Minister secure a second term after a decisive win at the polls. Okay. So that's St. Lucia. Only by election are going, man. Sugar release, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Legal battle erupts over compensation for man imprisoned 50 years without trial. Lord have mercy, what going on there now? Don't tell me say this is a new article. Mighty God, I want a new article with the old man. Get NRRA right. Editorial. Holness welcomes multilateral. Yeah, me see that already. What that? Oh. Global Medic delivers 270 water purification kits to residents in Frome, Westmoreland. Miss, I am so happy you went to Westmoreland with them and not give the government. Thank you for carrying it to them yourself. God is good. God is good. I don't see nothing clean about this thing, you know. Let me go to the Observer. Jennifer said, okay, you see that message there already? Who else is here? Mongrel, you want to call me now? Hear what you say? Or you want to text me on WhatsApp? I don't know. Phone the right, so you know, so you can text me. People will get some breaking news. Sorry, it kind of show off the show, but we need to find out about this. Hard hit Melissa. Goat farmer questions effectiveness of RADA. Mighty God. Farmer them a ball out. Farmer them a ball out. KFC what? I don't know why you want a new KFC. Cruise tourism resume sailing in Falmouth. That's good. St. Vincent. Let me listen to this again. What do you say as Edwin what? Okay. Alright. Father God, don't make them fight me so hard. Alright, at this minute here, let me share this. Because them say electricity and bay rate, me hear what going on. I have to keep my eye on that phone, and that phone do your own thing when you feel like, you know. See what I say? Brazilian what? Brazilian teenager was mauled to death by a lioness in full view of zoo visitors after scaling a 6-meter wall. Jesus! Then what could have caused him to do that? Why him decide to scale the wall? What could have caused all of this? They look for him to know. What am I do? Acha! He just grab him and tear him at yo. And him a run. Oh, what did? You can't make this up, bro. You can't make this up. What kind of demons going on that the picture there? That the teenager there? For him scale the wall of Brazil. You don't know say lion a lion. Like what? Like bro, Moon even got the safari, bro. Like but I don't want them nowhere near them the thing there, brother. If me never born in them environment, I don't want them near them, bro. Lion. You know, yo, do you know how powerful a lion is? Video can't be played. Why is that? Why can't be played? The man send the video to me. Why the video can't play? That's weird. That's pretty weird. Oh, see that? Sorry.
This is Make We Talk breaking news. An item of news just coming in. The newly elected Prime Minister of St. Lucia has accused the Jamaica Labour Party of election interference.
What?
That's the newly elected Prime Minister of St. Lucia has accused the governing Jamaica Labour Party of election interference. As soon as we get some more news, we will pass it on to you.
No, me no know. Me I look for see me find an article. Let me play that again. Let me play that again. Cause something alright. I can't Jamaica Labour Party them at all. I refuse to believe say they would have got all the way over there to go interfere with that. Let me listen to that again, my people, because let me listen to this carefully. What?
This is Make We Talk breaking news. An item of news just coming in. The newly elected Prime Minister of St. Lucia has accused the Jamaica Labour Party of election interference. That's the newly elected Prime Minister of St. Lucia has accused the governing Jamaica Labour Party of election interference. As soon as we get some more news, we will pass it on to you.
Wow. They have accused the elected governing party, the Jamaica Labour Party, of election interference. Is that like a crime? Wow, that's gonna be a developing story. Let me see how that plays out. Anyway, guys, let's get to it. Arrowmatic General. Let's get straight to it because Parliament start, but me nah pay them no mind till me see Favour start talk. Favour Williams alone me interested to hear from right now. Favour Williams, everybody present at Parliament today, no backside. Hey, everybody present at Parliament. No one that I must see the people who watch me, they not touching for my show. But sure, me I do my show same way, you know. Me only have the time when me have. Me I do my show same way. I'm still going to touch for the Parliament. But Arrowmatic, Realistic TV, General.
Reality check, man, from your device, and you know it's a unique one, Arrowmatic Realistic TV.
Yes.
Anyway, today my viewers and subscribers.
I make sure someone go subscribe to Arrowmatic Realistic TV on YouTube. See? Lead the argument.
The Prime Minister is on a rant and a rage.
Yes.
But we have to understand. And we also have to know the man for who he is.
Mighty God.
And as Jamaicans, we must understand this man and how this man operates. Anytime he's not getting the attention and you suck the oxygen out of the room that he normal operates in,
my God,
it becomes a problem. And anything that him have to do to bring back the spotlight and the attention and the oxygen inside of that room for you to focus on him, this man will do it.
My God. Wanna hear that?
So it simply mean, even if him have to hurt the people them who is already suffering from Hurricane Melissa, he will do that.
My God.
Because it's not all about the people.
It's about him.
Who him care about. Him care about Andre Stevenson, who is out there in the field interacting with the people and giving them back a sense of hope, pride in themselves. Him can't deal with that. The entertainers, them are out there. They help them fellow countrymen. Him can't deal with that. The regular Jamaican citizen who is out there and helping their brothers and sisters in this time of destruction. Him can't deal with that. Because remember, the attention must always be on Andrew Holness. The focus must always be on Andrew Holness. The oxygen must always be with Andrew Holness.
A narcissistic person. That is the type of person that the attention always has to be on them. Nobody else must get the spotlight. That person becomes public enemy number one. And in this case, yeah, when we call it that for me now. And in this case, Andre Stevenson is definitely on the top of the list, in my opinion, of the people that were Andrew bad mind because they might get the attention. But I don't think it's just Andre Stevenson alone. It's everybody. Wagwan Dior, I think it's everybody that are the only thing when I add to it. Hey, I'm to this busy man. That are the only thing. Wagwan Celine, that are the only thing when I add to it. Arrowmatic, I say. You see what I deal with? But me not lie, because Andre and Andrew have this history. Right? Because them have this history, me can see where Andre consistent and how Andre all about the place. And it the type of thing that I do. When I see him do the devotion and he make everybody sing and I give praises to the Most High, and that me I say, yes, Andre, yes, Andre, yes, Andre. That is it. I mean, not think about Andrew when me I say that. I not think about that to say, alright, Andrew, I go vex. Me I say yes, because that's what the people them need. Them need to look to God. You understand? And that's what the true hope, right? And guidance and wisdom are gonna come from for we maneuver through this time and for even be safe through this time. And that's where it gonna come from. You feel me? I deal with so Andre has really go above and beyond in him advocacy all around the island, and really and truly I want to get a tsunami of help from people. I want the people to pour into Partner Draw TV relief advocacy. Yeah man, nobody spare no change man. You feel me I deal with? Just put the money in it. Because he's transparent, he's accountable. You understand what I deal with? And him really have a heart for the people. Yeah, a generator man give. After Andre give generator to the farmer, they say Andre gone up sitting there and take picture of him and generator. Hey, Andrew don't like nobody take away spotlight from him. And then they see spotlight to Andrew again. Those people spotlight is bright, and it a put one bright spotlight negatively for Andrew, because of the people in Jamaica is the one that is rescuing Jamaica, not Andrew. Well, it's really God Almighty, right, through the people. Now we have to give praises to the Most High, right, the ultimate praise over everything, right. So I really, God Almighty, I really allow these things, and I speak to the hearts of these people, right, all around the world, wherever they come from, the same Jamaican them and others, right. So the light of the pan Angelo, the world that's about, hold on, look how much aid we give. And people are say, but hold on, look how much aid them give. And then Marlon, what's your name? Dora the Explorer come out the other day and come talk about say not $1 has been spent. Then what wanna do with the money? What wanna hold it up for? Me know so they been a parliament, me there I watch them but me not have his sound. Me there I watch them and I wait for what's your name? Me I wait for my girl if you come turn up and talk. The mannequin of finance, sorry, the minister of finance, and Isabel Rose. Because ball out, Jamaica, ball out. No, sir. Yeah, bother.
Notice of question.
You know why I hear that, you know? Back to this. You know why I hear that? Back to this.
And for the first time in a long time, the attention shift away from Andrew Holness. The oxygen outside of the room where he normally control. And now the spotlight is on a youth like Andre Stevenson. And the entertainers and others.
Yes.
And because of that,
the
Prime Minister is having a total meltdown.
Talk truth, man.
So I'm gonna play back a little bit of this clip when he's saying that him see video going around and the in thing now, everybody they give out a package. And as he said that, the man a laugh. And as the man said that, the man a laugh. No care in this world for the people. But listen to him. And then we're going to listen to Andre Stevenson clip.
Yes.
And dissect it as we move along. Take it away.
I see so many pictures of persons giving out packages, and it is becoming almost the in thing now on social media. Everybody is giving out a package. No, I think in the initial days it's necessary, but I'm also very concerned about the dignity of our people. You know, I don't like my country to be shown as people running to get food, fighting over a package and those kind. I don't like that. And it creates a kind of mentality that is not Jamaican. We are independent people at heart. We're not supposed to be doing handout. Now, yes, we are in a place where we need to do relief, but we must never give up our dignity. So if you have to give that quietly.
You hear that, Jamaica? It's not all about the people. Don't get it twisted. It is all about Andrew Holness. It is all about Andrew Holness now get the spotlight there right now. Is that about Andrew Holness not getting that attention right now? The oxygen is not inside of the room that Andrew Holness normally controls. So him is on a total rant and rage now.
Hold on there.
Because the spotlight.
I will Juliet Holness are going with no. I wish I go with.
My decks 1 second ago. The member came to the office of the speaker at approximately 15 minutes or so after 2. He said he had submitted some questions. Have I seen it? I answered him. I told him no. He said he would go and get it and he would give me a copy. He just did.
Yeah. Where Juliet are going with now?
Why can't you just go and have a look at them? Yeah, but it's this morning. It's this morning. Madam Speaker,
House Leader.
If the leader of opposition business would just allow me, I would pray in these matters we don't have to be contentious. The questions were sent to the clerk today. There is a requirement that the Speaker must review the questions before the questions are tabled. Because before the questions are tabled, the Speaker must review, because if the questions do not accord with the rules, if they include statements of fact, etc., that cannot be verified. Hold on. The Speaker shall be the sole judge. So, members, allow us to be reasonable. if the speaker, if the clerk gets the questions today, the speaker has to review the questions. You're giving notice of a specific set of questions. You can't give notice in general. The notice is attached to a specific set of questions. You members and members on our side, let us go over this again. The notice is attached to a specific set of questions. You do not give notice in general. You give notice that you're going to ask these specific questions. Before that can be done, the speaker has to review the questions to ensure that they accord with the standing orders. The questions here today, the speaker will do her review and will revert to the member.
House Leader, I will ask you not to take your seat as yet. Let me read further for the member. Subsection 2 of said Standing Order 16, which is why you are sure the speaker is required to review before just putting a document forward. If the speaker is of the opinion that any question of which a member has given notice to the clerk infringes the provisions of any standing order or is in any way an abuse of the right of questioning, he may direct A, that the member concerned be informed and that the question is out of order, or B, that the question be entered in the order book, which such alterations as he may direct. We have never had, even in practice, outside of the standing order, this approach that you are attempting to take. It's out of order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We will proceed to public business. We will start with the Minister of... Madam Speaker,
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The crux of this issue, yes, you have to review the questions, and a reasonable time ought to be provided for that. These particular questions were submitted by email before 10 a.m. We've been at the Parliament for 4 hours. You're saying that you just got them. So a member could reasonably expect that those questions, which may not be lengthy, could be reviewed and approved so that they could be tabled today. Given that there's a 21-day notice period before whoever those questions are directed at has to answer. To the extent that the administrative arrangements in this House don't permit the prompt review of the question, it's problematic because the notice period is extremely lengthy. And that's why we're objecting.
Madam Speaker.
Simple.
I think for one to say it's reasonable that the questions are sent today, to be tabled today, is completely misplaced, right? It is completely an unreasonable approach, right? If the member, I would suggest at minimum the member send the day before for the tabling in the House. At minimum, to give the speaker enough time. The speaker does have other matters, right? That's not unreasonable. Anyway, Madam Speaker, this matter is clear. The members know better, and I would ask them to conform. We will recommit. We will ask Madam Speaker that we recommit.
You have one, Karen?
House, we now ask for a recommittal of statement by ministers. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. Statement by ministers. House Leader.
Madam Speaker, as you see, the Prime Minister has joined us and has a brief statement to share with the House. So, Madam Speaker, the Prime Minister.
Copies will be circulated. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today to update this Honourable House on the unprecedented level of international financial support mobilized for Jamaica following Hurricane Melissa, and to outline how this support aligns with our structured, disciplined, and forward-looking national reconstruction strategy. Madam Speaker, the international community has responded to Jamaica with remarkable solidarity, urgency, and confidence. Yesterday, 1st of December 2025, the international financial institutions, the IMF, the World Bank Group, the Inter-American Development Bank, the Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean Development Bank, jointly announced a 3-year coordinated financing package of up to $6.7 billion to support Jamaica's US dollars, to support Jamaica's recovery, reconstruction, and long-term resilience. Madam Speaker, even before the announcement of this substantial international financing package, we already had in place a multi-layered disaster risk financing framework, which was the product of years of strategic planning, disciplined financial management, and proactive investment in resilience. This framework enabled rapid early response and the immediate mobilization of liquidity to meet the most urgent needs following Hurricane Melissa within days. Jamaica activated several instruments across our risk financing architecture. We had approximately Jamaican 5.3 billion in the contingencies fund and 1 billion in the National Natural Disaster Reserve Fund. We received US 91 million from the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, CRIF, one of the largest payouts ever made in the region. And then we had US $150 million under the catastrophe bond, triggered immediately based upon parametric thresholds. In addition, we had US $285 billion available through the IDB's contingent credit facility for rapid liquidity support, which was upsized to $300 million, and US $42 million scalable to US $84 million available on request under the World Bank's catastrophe deferred drawdown option. Madam Speaker, this totals approximately US $662 million in liquidity that was available almost immediately following the hurricane. This is the very definition of planning, preparedness, and responsible governance. Our multi-layered approach ensured that Jamaica did not wait helplessly for external support. We were prepared and ready to act, ready to deliver, and ready to protect our people. However, Madam Speaker, the scale of the disaster is without precedent in our history. The widespread infrastructure damage, displacement of thousands of families, the destruction of livelihoods, and the long-term economic impacts mean that additional financing is required to support the reconstruction effort and to build a more resilient Jamaica. It is against this backdrop of strong national preparedness that the international community has now rallied behind Jamaica, recognizing that we are not merely seeking help. We are ready to lead, ready to rebuild, and ready to transform. Madam Speaker, the US $6.7 billion financing announced yesterday has three main components. US $3.6 billion in sovereign debt financing. This is for the government to execute the National Recovery and Reconstruction Program over the next 3 years and includes up to $1 billion each from the World Bank, IDB, and CAF. US $415 million from the IMF under the large natural disaster window of the RFI, and US $200 million from the CDB, the Caribbean Development Bank. The second category of second component of fund, would be
Today Tuesday, yes?
US $2.4 billion in private capital mobilization. IDB Invest, the International Finance Corporation, and the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency will mobilize private investment through public-private partnership models. Madam Speaker, it is important to note that mobilizing private capital will be critical not only to scale up recovery efforts, but also to preserve fiscal space. It is not intended for the sovereign debt pool. This is not intended, Madam Speaker, for the sovereign debt pool, and the private financing pool will operate independent of each other. The plan is to use innovative public-private partnership solutions and structures that blend public and private finance and expertise throughout the recovery and reconstruction process. The third component would be grants and technical assistance. The third important component of the overall financing package would see...
Hold on there. Andrew give budget or the speech or favor. They come like him a preempt favor. What go on?
The 5 institutions committing to provide technical assistance and policy advice services. This would include, they would provide, Madam Speaker, policy advisory services, which would be funded by grants that draw on global experience and best practices in disaster response. So far, US $12 billion in grants would have already been mobilized from the IDB, the World Bank Group, and the CAF, with more to come. Madam Speaker, these 3 components, in addition to the US $662 million that was already available, is what makes up the overall financing package of $6.7 billion US. This is the single largest and most comprehensive development financing package ever assembled for Jamaica.
You might play politics same way, no?
It gives us the liquidity, the fiscal space, and the multi-year investment framework required to rebuild stronger and more secure for our future. Securing support of this magnitude within 1 month of Hurricane Melissa is nothing short of historic. It reflects sustained, direct, and...
Look for Mystic Sensation comment. Mystic say, listen to the finance minister speech. Favor is only a shell like his shell companies. Me tell you say a favor speech this. He man a preempt favor. Hey, the man ain't afraid to make favor talk, you know. Oh God, when they call her, when Isabel call her, the mannequin of finance.
active engagement
Boy!
At the highest level.
The mannequin of finance.
Over the last several weeks, we have had extensive engagements with the heads of the IMF, the IDB, the World Bank Group, CAF, and the CDB, as well as other
No,
leaders.
hold on. I just then call a brief address. No. Hold on there. Wait. Me can't listen to this no more. Can't listen to that no more. Me not come here for him. Me come here for Favor. Favor more you talk. A Favor like Minister of Finance. Or is she? Is she? Is she the Minister of Finance? Or is she the mannequin of finance? Talk truth now, people. Talk truth. Let's keep it real. Where are we Isabel video there? The man ain't a plan to make Favor talk today. Andrew talk. We can't bother with that. A Favor Williams will come from. I come for Andrew. You understand? That's true. That's true. I come for.
RP that main verse 24 says,
we are still issuing.
Whoa.
We are still issuing care was donated by Dr. Marcia. So she's overseas, she saw my videos, and she went and got some sponsors from friends, family, and we got a few stuff. We're putting them together, and basically, yeah, we will be.
He comes out when you send me a message. How are this to come send me?
Which Caribbean country has the most thieves? I mean, they all graduated from the same school of robbery.
Backside.
Number 4, Trinidad and Tobago.
No, sir. Have you done it normal? Which Caribbean country have the most thief? I bet say Jamaica. I better say Jamaica. Come up number 1. People on TikTok, sorry here. Karen said, I'm glad you take it off. Call me. You know, I know enough people that even like Andrew, you know. Right, they say that. Enough people that even like Andrew.
Channel, it's your girl, and Isabel Rose. And in this one, the mannequin of Nelly.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. No, me have to highlight that one here. Big up Annie Isabel Rose. Hear this.
Blessings, ABR family and viewers. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl, and Isabel Rose. And in this one, the mannequin of finance. No, I mean this one, the mannequin of finance. No, I mean the Minister of Finance is set to speak in our parliament today. You don't want to miss that.
Yo, let me tell you something. She never tell a lie. Because Andrew Holness presently has taken over this whole finance. Like the man that, listen to this.
At the G20. But Madam Speaker, let us be clear.
Yes.
Engagement alone would not have produced this outcome. The swift, coordinated response from the IFIs is a direct vote of confidence in Jamaica's governance.
Listen to this.
It reflects the credibility we have built through the years of fiscal discipline in managing our economy, in reducing our debt, in strengthening institutions, in managing...
That does sound like a finance minister speech. Andrew Holness cannot give somebody else to stop the spotlight. Andrew Holness have to micromanage every ministry in the country. We not so much ministry and agency in the Andrew office or the office of the Prime Minister. The man cannot allow anybody else to have the spotlight. That's why the man telling us say, want to stop video, want to not get the package them. And him alone for video, and I see go back Chief Curry place, go and get out what you call it, generator and Starlink. And him take a picture and him video. No. Oh. Bad mind a kill Andrew, people. Bad mind a kill Andrew. Me can't believe this. It's sad. It's sad.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, no, we have to highlight that one here. Big up Annie Isabel Rose. Hear this.
Right. It's with the people now who is out there in the field.
Back to you, General.
Genuinely and sincerely bringing these gift package and aid to the people in times of need. I'm going to play the clip now with Andre Stevenson in Brampton, St. Elizabeth. I stand to be corrected by the name, but I think it was in Brampton, St. Elizabeth. And the youth is giving the people of Jamaica a sense of hope, pride, joy, and happiness. Bring back the spirit of bonding, togetherness, and hope in the mid of this crisis. Restore back dignity upon these people and hope. Take it away.
What you say? Come here, man. What you say? Morning, morning, morning. come here to make sure son are alright today. They carry Sunday dinner food, no? May I make sure son is organized and starting out today, alright? No. God bless you, God bless you. Rahim. Hi, baby. How are you? Share up the live. Share up the live. Hello, sir. How are you? Wanna go? Hi. TikTok, you're alive. Jesus. All right. Bless you, man. This man. You go and go alone. So, we're going to keep up. I want everybody together. Come together. Auntie Claudette, they're not getting a church from morning, so we're going to keep on singing. How you doing? Good morning. How you doing? I watch you so much. I haven't got time on my All right.
Yo, you can't hear the joy in the people them. Andre bring good energy, brother. Good spirit. It's the truth, bro. You can't hear the joy in the people them. You can't hear the life in the people them, even in them situation. And the man do that move they want to do for have devotion. Me I tell you say, yo, John, you. That's why I always have a big up Andre now. Yo, what I tell you, that is it, bro. That is it. That's all me have to say. That is it, bro. That is it. Yeah, man. At the right move, brother. Look at devotion, bro. Yes, man. The people, lift the spirit of the people, them. Get God presence in the place. Right? Lift the spirit of the people, them, brother. At this, Andrew no want nobody else. Andrew come like him no want that if God get praise. And because of Andrew do it and him do it, he come like say you're in vex. I saw it appear. It appear that way.
Alright, so we're going to keep a little devotion. Yes. Now for we don't get to God church from hurricane start, don't it? So we're going to keep a little devotion. We're going to hand out the food them. We're going to hand out the care packages. Auntie Claudette, I'm going to pray before we hand out the care packages, okay?
So you see what is taking place, my viewers and subscribers?
Big up, man.
The youth is in the community.
Yeah, man.
And him not just in the community, they give out the care package and the food. But he's bonding with the people in the community.
Yes.
In times of need, when they're down and desperate.
That is it.
And looking for a comforter and somebody to trust and confide in. Is this kid out there restoring back calm to their community? Lifting up the babies, hugging up the elders, make them know that there is someone out there still love and care them. There's someone out there still love and care them. So we will find rest in the eyes of the storm.
No man, hold on there. Andrew going with some things over here. So
our part in the new possibilities provided here for all Jamaicans to benefit. So, the reconstruction effort being deployed across infrastructure opportunity. To the Minister of Finance reminded me, $20 billion. You are proud, as as are we, proud of the fact. Yes, $20 billion. So you get an opportunity to, within 3 years, to deploy $6.7 billion relative to your $20 billion GDP. So you can see the opportunity to expand the economy. And that's what the strategy is. And I'm encouraging all Jamaica a superior fiscal position to give confidence and certainty to our business sector. We will turn this moment of crisis into an opportunity to transform. Madam Speaker, Jamaica has never lacked ambition. What we have lacked for decades is the financial wherewithal to match that ambition. Today, that has changed. For the first time in our history, our national development vision is backed by a robust, multi-year, multi-partner financing envelope. Madam Speaker, we now have a clear reconstruction strategy, an empowered institutional framework, unprecedented international support, and a united national will. This government will move forward with urgency, discipline, and transparency as we lead Jamaica into a new era of resilience, recovery, and growth. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
So I will left favor of now. When left favor of make sure you say a favor I go talk now, because more you a favor I say now.
Thank you.
Will respond.
Oh, Marky G, I go talk now. A good thing, so me go on for it.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I begin by taking this opportunity to express my sympathies and solidarity with all the victims across Jamaica of Hurricane Melissa, the many who died, the numbers still not finalized, and those who are still suffering from the aftermath of this terrible storm. Madam Speaker, it is a sad situation in the configuration of the affairs of this world that we, living in a small island developing state like Jamaica, are the recipients of the increasingly vicious effects of the climate crisis, a crisis which we did very little, if anything, to cause. The global warming as a result of the excessive use of carbon and emissions from carbon fuels over the last few centuries since the Industrial Revolution. That global warming has largely been driven by the wealthy economies of the world. And yet we, in Jamaica and other islands like ourselves, are suffering the consequences of that on an annual basis. We were hit by beryl or scraped by beryl last year. It was a serious hit. And this year we got walloped by Melissa. It's really a shame that the international financial community is still approaching the mitigation of the effects of climate-induced disasters on countries like ours by financing packages that are largely based on additional debt. These debts that we are now going to be incurring to finance our attempts at recovery are like lending money to a business that suffered losses through some kind of crisis that is trying to dig itself out of a hole from. Taking on additional debt to do that is going to be a challenging road for any country. Therefore, I don't think it's appropriate to treat these announcements in a triumphant way.
Quite so.
We are going to be
Quite so.
We are going to be incurring the costs of paying back this massive additional borrowing in years to come. We are in a country which has spent the last 15 years seeking to get ourselves out of a debt trap, where we've had to run massive primary surpluses every year consistently to reduce our debt to GDP ratio, with a target that's written into our law incidentally by a government from this side, which we were anticipating would have been met this year before Melissa struck us. And now we are facing a new era of massive incremental borrowing. If you look at 3.6 billion US of sovereign debt, that's over 25% of GDP of additional borrowing. That does, and the 662 billion already available, only less than half of that is in a form that's not debt. Most of that is debt as well. This $2.4 billion of private capital, we look forward to seeing whether that will be forthcoming and in what volumes, because you can't project that you're going to receive private investment as part of your recovery. I'm glad that the multilaterals are going to support the effort, but at the end of the day, investors have to be willing and there have to be projects available to them that are bankable and investable. So we will see whether or not that happens. But the reality is that only 12 million US out of $7 billion is grant funding. Only 12 million US out of over 6 billion of programmed US funding is grant funding. That is the world that we as Jamaicans, both you on that side and us on this side, have to navigate.
House Leader, members' time for speaking has expired. House Leader, the members' time for speaking has expired.
We didn't visit your Prime Minister's speech with the kind of response that you're giving mine.
Madam Speaker, as the time for the opposition leader has expired, to speak has expired, we ask that you give him sufficient time to complete his presentation.
House, the question is that the Leader of Opposition be allowed an additional 5 minutes to complete his presentation. No, members, I am going to ask that no one asks for sufficient time to complete, because those words can mean a 2-hour, 3-hour presentation, like the member from St. Andrew South. Yes, Angela, you know it's you, who spoke for hours. What is your point of order? What's your point of order?
Exactly.
You're correct. Member. Member, you're correct. But it is not in keeping with the approach of Parliament to speak until conclusion, whenever that is. And we have learned our lesson, as the member so nicely stood up and reminded us. So she knows who we're speaking of. So 5 minutes, House. Those in favor? Those against, the ayes have it. House Leader?
Yeah, I suppose I should be grateful, though it's a very parsimonious allocation of time to respond to such an important speech on such an important occasion. It's symptomatic of what is wrong with this Parliament, that the Leader of the Opposition is given 5 minutes more to finish a presentation. Anyway, that is the world in which we are being required to live. Madam Speaker, the institution which has been announced to oversee the recovery process, which does not yet exist, It is just an announcement thus far. This national, I think, Resilience and Recovery, or Recovery and Resilience Authority, NARA, is going to, we are told, be responsible for the relief resources being spent in a judicious way, in a way that's efficient, in a way that is accountable and transparent, in a way that accords with a sensible policy of recovery. After all, the PIOJ has indicated that this financial quarter that we're in now, the economy is going to contract by some 11, I think, to 13% of GDP relative to the same quarter last year. That is a massive contraction. And it's going to further exacerbate the debt to GDP ratio because, of course, the debt to GDP ratio has two components. There's debt and there's GDP. So what we're seeing here is that debt is going to be growing dramatically and GDP is in the process of a free fall as a result of this terrible calamity that has hit us. So while I admire and indeed share optimism about the future, because Jamaica is such a resilient and special country, and we will get through this, I think we should approach an announcement like this with some sobriety, where this event has caused us to retrace our steps substantially from the economic path we were on.
Facts.
And which we,
nothing to celebrate
the nation
nothing to be
incurred substantial sacrifices
this is devastating.
to get to where we were. I'm not blaming the government for Melissa. That would be absurd. I'm not blaming the government for seeking resources to fund the recovery. It's going to be necessary to get those resources. I am just making the point that this is not something to celebrate. This is not something to gloat about. This represents a substantial setback for Jamaica, and it represents if it's not administered properly, it could permanently weaken our future prospects and damage the country's future. Which is all the more reason why the composition of this recovery authority is important. I wrote to the Prime Minister on the day after the hurricane to suggest the establishment of a task force with broad-based representation, leaders from the private sector and business community, leaders from the churches, leaders from the NGOs, and representatives from the government and the opposition. The concept of NARA is consistent with that. However, I've heard nothing from the Prime Minister as to the role of the opposition in NARA. We heard it will be broad-based, but there is no inclusivity in the dialogue around how it is to be constituted. And I can hear from the barbs that are flowing from the other side that the likelihood is that we will not be included in it. That is what I'm hearing from the other side in their responses to me, their sotto voce remarks. All I can say is, Prime Minister, the opposition represents some 400,000 voters who voted for us, 28 constituencies, and our presence in the recovery and our participation in the recovery, you'll be well advised to seek in a genuine...
House Leader, the member's time for speaking has expired.
Oh my God! Yo.
Members.
Thank you. As the member's time for speaking has expired, I ask that you put to the House that he be allowed an additional 2 minutes to complete his presentation.
Wow! That lady is she's so, yo, me say, hey, them people are making it hard for them to hate them, you know? They make it hard for them to hate them, you know? Watch her face. She disgusting.
complete your presentation, opposition leader.
She is disgusting.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Another generous allocation of time. Thank you very much.
And opposition leader,
yes.
Prime Minister got 10 minutes extra on 12 minutes for statement by Minister.
Right. I won't be nearly as long.
And you got half of that time.
I'm wrapping up.
Yeah.
It's not in my nature to be long-winded.
Bad up! Bust them in.
So, Prime Minister, the point I was making is,
my fire shot.
I think you would be advised to see, in an authentic way, the inclusion of the opposition in the governance arrangements over which these funds will be administered on this recovery, because Jamaica is facing an unprecedented disaster, the scale of which is indeed awesome and frightening to those who have to encounter it on a daily basis in several parishes across the land. So, Prime Minister, I wait to hear your thoughts on this. I have asked you about it for a month now. You haven't indicated to me your views, but, you know, I'm putting to you today again what I consider to be the optimal approach to dealing with this particular matter. Time is short, and I've been asked to finish within 2 minutes, so I will wrap up now. More on none. We will be hearing about the fiscal rules, and we'll be hearing about the suspension of the fiscal rules, no doubt. And I'm looking forward to the discussion around that, where I'll have an opportunity to say some more on these matters. Thank you, Mrs. Madam.
Terrible, man. Disgusting. This lady.
Madam Speaker and Prime Minister, you can guide me here whether you will deal with these questions or the Minister of Finance. But I certainly would like to know the terms and conditions of the loans that we're getting from the various multilateral agencies. The 6.7 billion US is over 3 years. What we intend to draw down in year 1, year 2, year 3, whether there are conditionalities tied to these loans, whether the monies have to be used specifically related to rebuilding exercises or whether it can be used more broadly. So you can guide me as to whether you will answer or the Minister of Finance will provide those details when she speaks later.
Any other questions? You may go ahead, member from Portland Eastern.
Mr. Prime Minister, thank you, Madam Speaker. You made mention of the human dignity component with your transition to digital cards or an alternative means to food distribution. In your presentation, I note that the purpose of loans, albeit that you are celebrating, and we ought to celebrate restoring the country, the aspect as to whether or not there was any consideration of persons who simply won't be able to access your electronic system to access basic necessities for the food and anything else that comes with it. Yeah. Also, in terms of an allocation, is there a specific sum that goes to the persons who are the primary victims and should be the ultimate beneficiary of any loan given? That is to ensure that the lives of the people are restored in a position better or at a minimum to the position they were before the disaster. And ask lastly that any consideration should consider the Constitution and the guidance on human rights when that is done. Thank you.
Minister, I was just making sure that there were no other mics on. The member from St. Andrew Southwest.
Right. Thank you very much. Prime Minister, in speaking about the next phase, and in particular moving from relief to recovery, I had a question in terms of, I think you had mentioned something about cash transfers earlier. though not specifically in here, but it ties in. So the question I wanted to ask is whether or not in the distribution of cash, allocation of cash transfers, whether gender-sensitive targeting will be used, especially given the fact that we know that targeting households that are led female heads, that really brings more fairness. And I was wondering whether or not that was contemplated in what you were planning to do. The other question that I have was really around also integrating emergency cash relief into existing welfare programs. We haven't heard much spoken about that, but I believe that that is important, although issues of connectivity and network would hamper how successful that can be. But as we are moving to restore, I am asking, where are we with that, and hoping that we will do that. And then, Prime Minister, you speak in the reconstruction effort being deployed across infrastructure, housing, digitalization, logistics, agriculture, and energy, that thousands of jobs will be created. Again, Prime Minister, the question I'm asking, I'm looking at how Ministry of Labor and Social Security and some of those who have done the assessment, I'm looking at the cry on the ground about the partisan nature of how it has been done, how some communities have been totally left out, and I'm wondering what will be done differently to ensure that those thousands of jobs that are created for Jamaicans and not on a partisan basis.
So members, I'll remind you that you should indicate wanting to ask a question instead of turning on all the mics, and you would have observed the effort to put us back in order. So as appropriately done, the member from St. Catherine Southeast will now ask his question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Stand up. Mr. Prime Minister, you mentioned that we are looking at turning this moment of crisis into an opportunity, and much talk has been made about a Marshall Plan for Jamaica's recovery. There's also was a Dawes Plan in following World War I. Now, in most of these reconstruction, a Dawes Plan. In most of these reconstructions of battered economies, there has been a pivot towards particular industries. Are we going to rehabilitate extractive industries such as mining and tourism, or are we going to move towards the development of industries that can move us to a pathway of growth? For example, when the Minister of Energy spoke, there was not much discussion as to moving towards green energy, and we don't even know to this day the status of the wind turbines that we had invested in so much. So the question is, when we are reconstructing, are we going to be building a future through new enterprises and manufacturing, or are we going to go through the Spring Plains project and the Garmex fiascos of the 1980s, which we ended up paying for, as the leader of the opposition said, for years later? Thank you.
Dr. Dayton Campbell stand up, so why shouldn't I recognize him? Why shouldn't I stand up?
Next is the member from St. Manchester South, who raised his hands, and you may now turn your mic on, member. From Manchester South.
The lady had a easy head woman that's quite full.
He stood up.
I'm not gonna say, oh, John.
You know the rules, you know. You can choose to follow them or not.
I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Because I still want to stand up. I don't know. Prime Minister, you spoke about the
establishment of NARA, and it will be quickly set up. Could you tell us the form of this entity? Is it going to be, I'll just repeat, what type of entity will NARA be? Is it going to be a statutory body established by statute or act of this parliament, or is it going to be just a regular company, government-owned company? I assume that you're well down the wicket in terms of determining the form of this entity. That's one question. And the second is, I noticed that the 12 million in grants that you mentioned, it's all for technical and policy advice. Do we know if any of this will be spent with Jamaican professionals, or will it all, as usual, go to foreign entities?
What a question.
Next person is the member from St. Catherine Northwest. You may turn on your mic, member.
Raise your hand and stand. So, Prime Minister, I have one question. The estimate of 6.7 billion US, is that in your analysis sufficient enough for our recovery efforts and our rebuilding efforts? And if it is not enough, approximately what percent of the resources you perceive that we will need in the next 3 to 5 years is this 6.7 billion? That's my question, perhaps.
Next is the member from Westmoreland Eastern.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Prime Minister, I don't think those of us from Westmoreland can see this as anything but an opportunity for us to rebuild. Normally, rural development is not given primacy of focus, and that leads to migration to the urban centers and all of those things. In rebuilding Western Jamaica, one of the fundamental issues confronting the people there is the issue of landlessness. They don't own the piece of land that they occupy. That leads to several other issues. Some persons don't build permanent structures because they don't own the piece of land, and that puts them at risk when we have these weather events.
I see where he's going.
So I'm just asking that in the rebuilding process, that security of tenure and giving the right to the land that these persons have been occupying, that be placed at the forefront, especially for majority of the persons within the parish of Westmoreland.
So I note that the member from St. Andrew Southwest, who ridiculed the efforts to have members raise their hand, is wondering if raising hand is still the standing order. After that, the week following, the ruling was as exactly in keeping with the standing order. The standing order requires that a member stands and upon catching the eye of the speaker, so you are required to stand. The member from St. Andrew West. Thank you so much, member.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Prime Minister, as Jamaica assumes the role, this new role as a poster child for climate resilience, are you likely to support the Barbados initiative that looks at reforming the financial institutions? So that the Barbados initiative, is that to reform the financial institutions so that we can get better terms for the financing for recovery?
You may turn on your mic, member from St. and
Don't be
Southeast.
stingy with the like button. Not even out telling us donation.
Prime Minister, thank you. And just one question from me as well. It relates to time frame, and you spoke about the 3 phases. However, since the different sections of the country were differently affected, will the strategy also take that into consideration so that those that can get up and go a bit faster get the support that they need? Because as you said a couple of sittings ago, we do need to make sure that those that are able fill the gap that is left by those that are now, I guess, a bit less able. So will the approach in moving forward, the approach in implementing, also take that into consideration? Because there are some sections of the country that can go faster than others.
Prime Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me just try and move through very quickly because we do have an extensive agenda, including supplementary. Let me start with the last question that was asked, which would give some context. Jamaica's approach to the disaster has 3 distinct lines of effort. Lines of effort 1 is relief. That is relief from the humanitarian displacement that has occurred. And that primarily has food, temporary shelter, water, that kind of support, care support. Then there is the recovery. And the recovery focuses on getting back electricity, water, hospitals, schools, access to roadways. And then we have reconstruction, which focuses on taking a longer-term view on what we rebuild, where we rebuild, and how we rebuild. All 3 are happening simultaneously. It is not a sequential undertaking. The intention of the government is to mainstream the relief effort. It is going to be necessary that this be done because the relief effort is mainly supported by our philanthropic partners who have come, many of them have come into the island, and indeed the ordinary Jamaicans who have been supporting. In another 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to see many of our relief partners take up and leave. It is natural, that's how it has happened all around the world for a long period of time. Some have longer staying capacities, others come for a specific purpose. So the government can't continue to have a special relief effort. A principle that this parliament must appreciate, or I'm certain that we all do and understand, is that there is a government. And yes, the opposition is a part of the government. And the government has ministries, agencies, and departments that are established to provide support through the regular social safety net system, whether it be PARK, whether it be rehabilitation grants, which we do normally. So the government will transition the relief effort into a more mainstream response stood up by the ministries, departments, and agencies. Inasmuch as members of parliament have been clamoring to want to deliver package, to want to deliver roofing material, there will come a time, and it has already come, where the members of parliament will be saying, take this away from me, I can't manage it anymore. Well, you know, this is, Madam Speaker, the challenge. Because in one voice you say you want it, and then in another voice you say you don't want it, you just want it done. And Madam Speaker, we as the government who have the responsibility, we already knew that this moment would come. And therefore, Madam Speaker, that is why we have always emphasized that we must stand up the government, make the government strong, including the members of the opposition, so that we can give the long enduring service to those Jamaicans who are suffering. That is what we have done. So, Madam Speaker, the idea that somehow the relief effort has been partisan, unfairly distributed. The main proponent being a sister and neighbor from St. Andrews South.
Again, the Prime Minister is misleading the House by saying, and besmirching, yes, my character, by saying that I am the main proponent. Obviously, he's not on social media. He's not reading what others are saying and writing. I am only bold enough to say to your face.
That is it. That is it. Remember good. Tell him, Angela.
Madam,
Angela.
I am happy that the member who says that she is not the main proponent, who asked the same question last week, had asked it this week, and is bold enough to state, I am happy that she has raised the issue because, Madam Speaker, as I travel through the country, supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party have come to me complaining that the PNP MPs who have gotten substantial relief aid have not been distributing it to them. And I want to put it on record, Madam Speaker, that when they have come to me, I have said to them, in the interest of unity and peace in this country, that we wouldn't raise it or complain about it. But there is obviously, Madam Speaker, an effort to destroy the goodwill and to falsely accuse the government.
It is true, it's not false. It's not
in a very
false.
malicious way.
Sure, for reality, it's not false. Lie matter.
And we have, Madam Speaker, made every attempt to be fair in how we have distributed the public's resources, not our resources, the public resources. And to an effort to destroy the goodwill and to falsely accuse the government in a very malicious way. And we have, Madam Speaker, made every attempt to be fair in how...
So Andrew has said there is an attempt to falsely accuse the government of partisan. So Andrew, you don't see evidence them. You don't see the video them. So now people is falsely accusing you and your government. You don't see the evidence them. How you do? You're like a guy. Almost like a, this is live in Parliament right now. Unbelievable. Hear him.
In this country. And to add them that they must release all public aid that has been given to every member of Parliament in this country. So that the unfair and malicious attempt to cast the government in an unfair light can be dispelled by facts. So, Madam Speaker, that will be made available as soon as the next sitting. And we have also said, I must say, Madam Speaker, I received yesterday a very good report from ODPEM that they now have in place a proper system to manage inventory. So very soon, we should be able to have a public access website where we can see everything that comes in and everything that is given.
So what are you just admitted is that they never did have the system before. Only should have be ashamed of yourself. And you go up on CNN and go tell them, say, oh, you have a credible and strong recovery and preparedness strategy. And this is called preparedness. Very soon you will have yo, I'm telling you something, man. You better wake up, you know. Because I am at war with misinformation. For Andrew Holness to come out here and tell us that the government is anything but a failure, that is misinformation. Total failure. And he might expose himself and he not even know it. him not even know it. But you see, if you're a critical thinker, you can understand exactly what I'm talking about. Him have to come down, you need to stop it. You need to stop it.
So, Madam Speaker, I know what has fallen over there and why everybody is all of a sudden getting hot under the collar. I know. Madam Speaker, let me continue. Let me continue.
You know because you tell lie.
No.
You know because you tell lie. A lie you tell, not go so you tell.
And a question was asked by the member from South Manchester. And your question was that there was $12 million of grants given. I'm constrained to say, member, that the grants are specifically for technical advice. There are other grants given in relation to the question asked by the leader of the opposition. There are other grants which ministers who are in the various areas where those grants are given will speak to. But 12 billion for this case is for technical advice. 12 million. And you are correct in the sense that sometimes these grants come with conditionalities as to who would be the consultant, and some countries have, precisely, some countries do have a requirement that by their law that some of their aid has to come through their local companies. I am not here saying that this is definitively the case for this. We have not discussed that. Which brings me to the question asked by the member from Southeast St. Andrews as to whether or not you wanted to have more details as to how the loans will be accessed, when they will be accessed, the conditionalities and interest rates and so forth. So today was, so just to back up so that the country understands clearly. 2 weeks ago, I had a discussion with all the international financial institutions at the G20. That discussion centered around how we can assist Jamaica's recovery. I asked for a particular kind of support. It was considered by the IFIs, and they came together and they made their release on Monday. This morning, I had a call with all the IFIs, including the head of the IMF, the head of the World Bank, the head of the IDB, the head of CAF, and the CDB, Caribbean Development Bank. And we worked out in broad outlines how the program will work. So I don't have for you as yet the details. The Minister of Finance will now go into the direct discussions to work out the details. We can say that the private sector loans, again to the point raised by the leader of the opposition, will form part of our public-private strategy. His concern is that, yes, you may say that $2.8 billion is available in private sector loan, but are there the matching investments ready to take it up? And on investors, and my answer to that is yes, because the government of Jamaica was already in the process because of our public investment appraisal process, where we have to develop projects way in advance. In addition to investors who have been coming to the government to say, we want to do this and we will fund it, and we have to be saying, yes, we understand. If you want to partner with us, you have to understand that we have to keep within our fiscal limits. And therefore, there are projects that are lined up waiting for fiscal space to be executed. So, which is why I've been saying that, yes, it's a disaster, but it has also created an opportunity for us to fund projects that have been on the track waiting to get fiscal space to be operated. So this is what I mean when I say we have opportunities. So this is also a signal, Madam Speaker, to the private sector that if there are projects that have a national impact that can be done using Jamaica's well-established public-private partnership structure, now is the time to get in line for those projects. The leader of the opposition is saying in a sort of a way that we don't have the money. The point is that once the international community stands up and commits to it, it would be very rare or something dramatic negatively would have happened for us not to have access to the funding. I'm saying the private sector money, they have committed an envelope. And once they have committed that, it is then up to us to meet the envelope.
And so I'm confident that we will be able to meet the envelope for the private sector funding. I want to tackle a question raised by the leader of the opposition. And in some ways, it's a philosophical question about climate justice, where the leader of the opposition said, as I have been saying since I was co-chair of the Committee for Climate Financing with Prime Minister Trudeau, appointed by the Secretary General to deal with this issue of climate change, that, of course, small island developing countries like Jamaica are not the main contributors to the issues of climate change, but yet we bear the cost of it. Our emissions clearly could not be attributed as a cause for the warming of the oceans globally, or the melting of the ice sheets in the poles, or the destruction of corals, or rising sea levels. Jamaica's carbon footprint is negligible. But you know, Madam Speaker, I am a strong advocate for climate justice. But the difference between myself and the leader of the opposition is you don't know what I'm going to say. You don't know what I'm going to say. The difference between myself and the leader of the opposition is that I am not expecting the international community to give Jamaica anything.
The Prime Minister is attributing a point of view or a remark to me, which is false. I've never said that the international community can be expected to give us anything. I know the world we're living in. I was pointing out the injustice of it, and the fact that it's because of the injustice of it that we're going to have to be taking on this massive amount of additional debt to try and dig ourselves out of this hole. That's the point I was making.
Madam Speaker, I accept the point of clarification, but there was no point of order. But the clarification attempted by the leader of the opposition, Madam Speaker, my recollection of the leader of the opposition statement is that they are only giving us $12 million in grants. With all that we need, all that they're going to give us, let me say this, Madam Speaker. Yes, there is an injustice in the climate change issues that small island developing states in particular are faced with increasing in terms of frequency, in terms of intensity, and in terms of the overlapping of disasters that have an impact on our balance sheet as a country. And the argument is that rich countries that have benefited from using carbon-based fuels, should compensate. But me being your Prime Minister, the position I take is that until then, Jamaica must be able to stand on its own 2 feet, develop itself.
Andrew Holness a house slave. Andrew Holness a house slave. That's what house slave say. Not because the master beat up our back. We don't have to make no excuses. We know for ball out. We know for talk about the injustices. We must continue in the slavery and be a good local slave. Andrew Holness mentality that. A free mentality that.
The leader of the opposition made the point that we are going to have to borrow to do the recovery.
Why we don't want to feel
And you have made the exact point.
Why
yes.
We don't want to feel talk?
What? So what else would we have to do? What else would we have to do? Which shows you the inconsistency of his arguments.
There's no inconsistency.
But here's the problem now, Madam Speaker.
So you inconsistent too.
How do we borrow? If it were 20 years ago,
defending slave master,
30 years ago, we would not be able to approach the IFI. We wouldn't even be able to approach the international community. But Madam Speaker, even if we were able to approach the international community, it would not be on concessionary terms. It would not be in a structured way as this. Madam Speaker, every country borrows. The real issue is, what are the terms on which you borrow? And it is the first time in a long time, in over 50 years, that Jamaica is able to approach the international community and be able to get these loans at concessionary and structured rates. Madam Speaker.
But him go on and said that is something that he is responsible for. If it was for the JLP alone, we wouldn't be able to get these things on concession. Remember, say they never pass an IMF test, until Porsche show them, say if you don't do this, and they make the law, but you see, Andrew Holness is in a pissing contest. Him still a try play politics even in a parliament, right? And him a move away from the substantive issue. I'm gonna know where I talk about all of this for. Right? Where I talk about all of this for. Try if you attack Mark Golding statement. Mark Golding made a factual statement. You understand? And because it highlighted in slave master them as wicked and evil, he want to defend them because he is a house slave. I tell you in a long time, say Andrew is a house slave, Him when name my mother from we're going to IMF and sell out Jamaica, Nigel Clark, I tell you, two of them are house slave, I have a video on my channel saying two of them are house slave in my opinion. Based off of them action, listen to him and defend the slave master, him a house slave.
I can be clear. I can be clear with the House that our preferred approach is to engage with the international financial institutions, because invariably their terms are much better than private markets, and they support technical development and they engage a structured program. So it is better for Jamaica to engage the financial community in this way. Madam Speaker, we are only able to do this, because we have demonstrated that Jamaica is a good steward with its own resources and a good steward with resources that we have borrowed. That good stewardship, Madam Speaker, the signal of that is that we have been able to consistently reduce our debt to the point where we were.
Are the PNP responsible for that, bro? Are the PNP responsible for that? It's not you. You are not the person responsible for that. The man now answer question, I rebut a speech him again, I take over Parliament and all of Favour Williams the talker now, and we are here for Favour, not Andrew. But in all fashion, him always have to take over. Him always have to be the spotlight. Him need to be seen. Him wife did tell we in the Gleaner interview, you know, say Andrew enough from him there school, you know, him just enough. And I mean, says she, I mean, can't find the clip, because it's there on the Gleaner. Because I found a lab rat when I watch silently and I looking at someone on our screen, because they think we don't know. So we are bring facts, facts. So we go on screen record and make sure so we play back everything what we say. You hear that? Out of order.
We're almost at 60% of GDP. The international community looking on at this says this is a responsible government with which we can...
You cannot take the credit for that. You were forced to be responsible. You were not willingly responsible. You have no choice. It's in law. And we know that. But you see people them are slow. No, you know, let me take that back. You see the people them that is not informed. I want to read. I want to listen to the people them read. I want to listen to the people them when them are read and I show the documentation. You're not going to know that. But Andrew can't fool somebody like me. Because I know say the PNP do that. The PNP is responsible for the fiscal discipline of the government. They set the thing from in a portion of time and it has to be followed. What the point that Mark Golden was making, it's so disheartening that we already went through this to make sure that we were disciplined. At the point when Jamaica was supposed to actually go into a period of growth, here comes a natural disaster according to them, right? And just can ravage Jamaica. Never say a natural disaster. We get punished. God moving on and punish we, right? Just when Jamaica was at the cusp of having, if managed properly, having some level of growth and production. Here comes Hurricane Melissa, totally devastated and destroyed this country. And guess what? There's more to come very, very soon. Thus saith the Lord. The disaster them not done yet. I don't even know if we're going to survive. I don't even know.
Partner and lend on establish a new entity. And I had the awesome responsibility of using executive funds. And I made it a practice
to oppress the people
that for every executive order that was given, I brought it to Parliament, though it was not required, and it was debated here, and parliamentarians had an opportunity to vary or change. It worked quite well.
No.
And I think we could say that we had the cooperation of the opposition in the management, largely, of the pandemic. We established a joint select committee where the Minister of Health was at the disposal of a selected number of members to question him on the management from the health side of things on the pandemic. When the leader of the opposition and myself met, he expressed to me that he would want to have a role in the recovery, and that was not something that I objected to. I still, however, have to figure out how does that work. The framework of our system is we have a parliament.
No.
So when the middle of a selected number of members to question him on the management from the health side of things on the pandemic.
Hear this.
When the leader of the opposition and myself met,
yes,
he expressed to me that he would want to have a role in the recovery, and that was not something that I objected to.
Oh, you never object?
I still, however, have to figure out how does that work.
Andrew Holness just admitted that he can't figure out after all this time, you know, how Mark Golden is going to have a role in the recovery process. Him still can't figure that out, you know. I want to make that digest. I want that go down and wash and just You know when you drink one nice cup of coffee and you feel it all the way down in your intestine, your belly feel a relief and you bust a gas. I want to know if you remember say Andrew Holness say him still a figure out how Mark Golding can be a part of the recovery process. A role in the recovery process. How Mark Golding can have a role in the recovery process. Ladies and gentlemen, how you find it so hard? How it's so hard for him to figure out a role for Mark Golding in the recovery process? What little he must think of Mark Golding? These are questions. What little he must think of Mark Golding that he can't figure out how a man that know business, a man as smart as Mark Golding, right? The leader of the opposition, a successful businessman, he can't figure out how Mark Golding is going to have a role in the recovery process. Andrew Holness, you're skilling a brother. You're a dangerous guy. You're man wicked. Yo! Andrew Holness too wicked, brother.
The framework of our system is we have a parliament.
Yes.
This is the ultimate forum
yes.
in which we meet and debate. And I have said, hold on, I've said, listen, let us establish a special committee. It wouldn't be under the strictures of all the other rules of how...
So Andrew, if you want to figure out how Mark Golding can be a part and have a role, why you don't ask Mark Golding, what do you suggest? How you can play a role? You never think about that? No, but you want to figure it out yourself. And then you not have the brains to figure it out according to you. You still can't figure it out I know, so you don't have the brains, you don't have the IQ, so why you never ask Mark Golding? Mark Golding, you know, what do you suggest? You never think about that? That never occurred to you. You know why? Because you have no intention of Mark Golding playing any role or the opposition. That's my opinion and I'm entitled to it. Yes. You remember good. Yo, me say, hey, Andrew, I want to say thanks. Yo, amount of content you give me today. Oh my God, thank you very much. TikTok bono. Right now, all of them videos see me I do a TikTok it up and TikTok bono. And then I go post them on my YouTube. Wow! The man say him don't know.
Standing committees and other committees work. It could meet when it wants and have that robust discussion, have special oversight, and you meet. And it's under the rubric of Parliament. I was a bit disappointed that that effort was rejected in favor of going to the PAAC. But I understand, because it is my view as well, that if you have a government, and the government has a structure, why go outside of the structure of government? Allow government to work. On the one hand, you can't reject what I have established based upon your advice and request you have established. Then you reject it, and then you come here and say, you want to have a goal. Make up your mind.
So Andrew, basically, then if you just follow your way, you not gonna take no suggestions from nobody, but everybody if you just follow you because of one order, you're done. Yo, you're not open to nothing, brother. You're not open to nothing. You're not open, you're closed off because you yourself just say you don't know which way that I gonna work. Yeah, fear. Fear of being exposed.
I am not here trying to hug up everything and do everything by myself.
That's exactly what you're doing, Andrew. That is exactly what you're doing. That is exactly what you're doing. Hugging up everything for yourself, taking on everything, micromanaging everything. That's a fact. That's what you're doing. The evidence is there. Right? See, Favor Williams can't even talk there. The mannequin of finance. Big up ABR News. ABR, may I teach that one there?
God knows I would prefer that everything were done in a way where everybody carries some of the weight.
No.
But let's not try to make political might.
Andrew, you want all of the glory. You don't want to give nobody none of the weight. You want praise. You want praise.
Intelligent gain out of a disaster. Let's not do that. No, the establishment of the NARA, as spotted by the member from South Manchester, has to be within a legal framework. And I have to go figure out now how that legal framework can incorporate.
Andrew Holness, how much time you say I a while ago? You are such a narcissist you don't even realize say I was a narcissist. The conversation is how we can figure out. You always say I. Because you're a narcissist. You don't know how to be a team player, brother. That's why people empire even in your own government. Are you, anytime the police them forget no glory? Are you? Anytime the police them forget no glory, are who go out there? Are you at the face? The Minister of Security, you are for there. You not give the man them no chance to shine. I when Mr. Matthew Samuda for talk about water, you are for there. Especially when there's something big. And you not give them no chance for blossom and be the star at the moment. Right? Because what? Member say no, such man say no. When George Wright are running no, don't vote for George Wright, vote for Andrew. You remember that? Because this is how you have structured your government. If you could have run in the 69 seat, then you would have run. Because you are one narcissist. And that the persona that the man give off, you know. If Andrew could have run in the 69 seat, then he would have do it. If he could have cloned himself. God help you when them have what they call it AI government. AI government are coming out, you have AI pastor, everything, you know. He can't stay there. More efficient than man. Them have it already. Them have their, hey, listen, the world is going crazy, okay? Anyhow, Andrew could have been the Prime Minister, the President, the Speaker of the House, the Minister of Finance, a
member of the opposition or members of the opposition. Hold on. In how that is administered. No. Hold on. There is a precedent which I have been thinking about, but I don't know if it has worked. Again, the member from Manchester South would immediately recall that the National Security Council was established in this way, where a member of the opposition from time to time was invited to sit on the National Security Council. Hold on, man. The Disaster Risk Council is an established position. And we have always said, let us use that, but you don't want to use the disaster. You want me to go now outside of the established structure and set up another structure. That's what you want me to do. No, I'm making my point.
You're making never Disaster Risk Council, the Disaster Risk
Position leader. No, position leader. Your mic is not on as yet. Okay, thank you.
The Prime Minister is again misleading the House. We have never objected to the use of the Disaster Risk Management Act and the Disaster Council, Risk Management Council, Disaster Risk Council, as the framework for dealing with disasters. We have perhaps objected to some of the things that happened during the pandemic in terms of the use of orders to create criminal offenses, but that's a different matter. The framework itself is robust and sound. It has been marginalized and put into OPM. And NARA is being established as a new framework. And all I'm saying is, if you want this to be a national effort, it would be a good idea, in my view, to include the opposition in the governance structure of NARA. If it's a statutory body, all you have to do is in the schedule which establishes its composition, include 1 or 2 members appointed by the leader of the opposition. That is standard, it is done. There are many examples in our law of that. Many. Including things like the Early Childhood Commission and the Parenting Commission. The Disaster Risk Council itself has the leader of the opposition as a member. And there are many, many others. So there's no rocket science to do this. It's just a question of political will.
Marky Chico exposed Andrew. Hey! No, people be excited. Don't even understand. No, this is why, you see, when they have Andrew Holness are like intelligent people, you know. You never know. Me I go show you say Andrew Holness. This is why I'm not like intelligent people. This is why Andrew Holness don't like intelligent people. Because you can't just say stuff and it go over them head because them intelligent. You understand what I mean? Make it go back to what Mark Bolin just said a while ago. And I'm gonna make sure say
an established position. And we have always said, let us use that, but you won't want to use the disaster response. You want me to position.
Right, that's all. Let me just carry back. We're not running so fast, but yeah. People, I TikTok there today here. Bolo! TikTok, let me show you say, Andrew Holness, I try to use him brain for the people them when they really understand certain things. But you see when he run up in a market, G, dangerous. Listen to this.
Hold on, man. The Disaster Risk Council is an established position. And we have always said, let us use that. But you won't want to use the Disaster Risk Council. You want me to go now outside of the established structure and set up another structure. My point, leader.
The Prime Minister is again misleading the House. We have never objected to the use of the Disaster Risk Management Act and the Disaster Council, Risk Management Council, Disaster Risk Council, as the framework for dealing with disasters. We have perhaps objected to some of the things that happened during the pandemic in terms of the use of orders to criminal offenses, but that's a different matter. The framework itself is robust and sound. It has been marginalized and put into OPM. And NARA is being established as a new framework. And all I'm saying is, if you want this to be a national effort, it would be a good idea, in my view, to include the opposition in the governance structure of NARA. If it's a statutory body, all you have to do is in the schedule which establishes its composition, include 1 or 2 members appointed by the leader of the opposition. That is standard, it is done. There are many examples in our law of that, many, including things like the Early Childhood Commission and the Parenting Commission. The Disaster Risk Council itself has the leader of the opposition as a member. And there are many, many others. So there's no rocket science to do this. It's just a question of political will and whether you think it's appropriate or not. And clearly you don't.
Oh! Clearly you don't. Mark Golding just ethered. If you don't know rap, if you don't know Nas, look for the song when name Ether. Mark Golding just ethered Andrew Holness, trying to blame the opposition for not wanting to be a part of a particular body, right? And suggesting that he should create a new one. Simple, bro. Put 1 or 2 people with the opposition leader. It is done all the time. So Andrew, why you mislead the honorable house, and why are you misleading the Jamaican people, Andrew? Why you do it? You have to stop it, Andrew, because you know say people them not listen to parliament, enough of them not read, right? Them just want to hear say, yo, party over there, so free drinks, free food. Yeah, man, when election time come, man, see your 5 grand, see your 10 grand, vote for we. We are shower labor, right? Only like intelligent people. That's why we don't invest in education in Jamaica. Your party don't build 1 school in 10 years. But to buck up in the great market, G. The businessman. Yes. Brain box. Hey, TikTok mash up today. Remember me tell you.
So again, the attempted clarification has not made the position of the opposition any clearer to me.
You're still
when
clear
we
to
met, I explained that there is the Disaster Risk Management Act, which already incorporates the leader of the opposition. Leader of the opposition went out and said, we want a different management structure. Even before I had announced NARA. No, Madam Speaker, I want to be clear. I want to be clear. At the start of my presentation, Madam Speaker, I went to great lengths to explain that the disaster is being managed in 3 different lines of effort. The management of the relief is under ODPEM and the National Disaster Risk Council. The management of recovery is also partially under ODPEM and the National Disaster Risk Council. Some parts of it are privately led, for example, JPS or the telecommunications. They are incorporated. The reconstruction effort, however, by virtue of the time it takes, the funding that has to go to it, is not considered a part of the disaster management.
What have to do with
because once you go through relief, then you go through recovery, then now you're into reconstruction. And so the reconstruction is a separate phase that has to be managed in a particular way.
That now
it has to have
do with the not
just oversight, but executive function. And that's a big difference. Now, before the leader of the opposition attempted to clarify and broke my thoughts, I was about to say that there are some examples of participation of the opposition in advisory functions, not in the executive functions of government. I pointed out
the
National Security Council for one. The Disaster Risk Council is another. And we could put in place an advisory body, as I had indicated before, of eminent Jamaicans, of members of civil society, and of course members of the opposition. Because there will be decisions that have to be made that require strong political and social discourse. The member from Westmoreland, for example, raised the issue of land settlement in Westmoreland. Now, I don't see how the government is going to treat with the land settlement issues without incorporating the opposition. Because let's say, member from Westmoreland Eastern, that there is a community that is at risk, and it is assessed that we have to relocate them to better, higher ground. And there is some political suspicion. The program is done. So we already factored in our development of how we're going to administer now, that there has to be the inclusion of the opposition. And I want it to be clear that I don't need to be threatened. I just want that to be clear. I am not going to accept any threats about if you know. No, that is not the spirit. No, that's what he said. That's what he said. If you are genuine, if you are serious, then let us, as leaders of the country.
They look police, that's why they call it S in a plate, you know. And that's why the man is stylist up and blur it on social media, you know. But look, police man, you can't talk about threat. Now, why they are threatening people? But it's war. But you don't want to accept threat? And what could which way did he threaten you? Where threatening you?
Let us as leaders talk one-on-one without our conversations. I mean, look, let me be clear. Any lies, any misinformation, you know, we have stood by and we have allowed it. That's fine. No is a disaster. The consequences of misleading people in a disaster is a disaster in itself.
And you alone are misleading. You alone are misleading people.
You are truly a part of the government, then you must act like a part of the government and be responsible in your conduct.
Bad man, them are the opposition. The opposition oppose. They don't agree with you. What you talking about? I want this man. I went pro box I got talk. All mics muted.
Good. Bye.
And the numbers you have received in the next 3 to 5 years is a 6 point sufficient. I asked Prime Minister that based on your analysis and the numbers you have received, is the 6.7 billion sufficient? And if not, what % of what you think we need over the next 3 to 5 years is the 6.7 billion?
Hold on, Prime Minister.
I had raised the issue of your electronic distribution, the moving from election and the human rights implications.
I answer them because
in relation to persons who didn't have IDs and stuff.
8 billion, everything. That I'm certain it's not going to cover everything, but it is far more than we have ever had, and it is certainly a significant part of what we will do. It's very hard to estimate. The asset damage is 8.8 billion. So we have been given 6.7 billion. That's substantial. Remember now, some of the asset damage is not on the account of government. Some of the asset damage would be hotels which are privately owned, you know, businesses which are privately owned. So a large part, in other words, I'm certain that we will cover what is on the government's balance sheet with this amount of money that is.
I would love to allow you. However, there's a member on the government side who would like to ask a question after the questions were responded to, and it is not being allowed. So I will turn over to House Leader. House. House Leader, and I'm saying to you that there are persons who want to start another round of questions. So,
Favor not talk today, you know. That me go on.
I said House Leader, so you notice you.
Parliament.
House Leader, next statement by Minister.
I ask question. The member from Portland East.
He asked.
Yeah. So Prime Minister was to
He asked his as well. He asked his as well.
The member from Portland Eastern asked a question regarding whether the human rights of persons will be respected when we transition to the mainstreaming of the relief effort. Yes, notice we use the term vouchers, both physical or electronic. And in our traditional standard way of giving social support, members, the persons who receive it, are required to have some form of identification. It is the requirement of our government that persons who are receiving benefits from the government have some form of identification. In this phase of the relief, that was not instituted. There was no request or requirement for persons to produce IDs. I am being clear. There was no directive from the government of Jamaica for anyone to produce any form of ID.
What?
I am not saying it didn't happen. I have heard things being said. We have not received any formal reports of that, but we were very clear to the agents, including the JDF, including the Ministry of Labour and Social Security.
No, he might deny it. Oh my God.
Madam Speaker, just to be clear.
So no.
In doing this, we always have a provision where we enable persons to be properly documented, as is the case with, for example, the Solidarity. Instituted. There was no request or that from the have some the mainstreaming of the respected when we
yo. Yes. No. Jamaica to the act. To the act. People, to the act like a fire. No, sir. Tick-tock again. Mighty God. People, Andrew talk about the ID thing in a parliament. Make you hear this. I can't believe when I hear from Andrew. The man them a walk the line right back. All Isaac Buchanan shock. Listen to this.
We transition to the mainstreaming of the relief effort. Yes, notice we use the term vouchers, both physical or electronic. And in our traditional standard way of giving social support, members, the persons who receive it, are required to have some form of identification. It is the requirement of our government that persons who are receiving benefits from the government have some form of identification. In this phase of the relief, that was not instituted. There was no request or requirement for persons to produce IDs. I am being clear. There was no directive from the government of Jamaica for anyone to produce any form of ID. I am not saying it didn't happen. I have heard things being said. We have not received any formal reports of that, but we were very clear to the agents, including the JDF, including the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. No. Madam Speaker, just to be clear, in doing this, we always have a provision where we enable persons to be properly documented. As is the case with, for example, the Solidarity Program. When persons are applying, if they don't have the requisite identification, we support them in getting the necessary identification and documentation. So yes, we want to support and we do protect the dignity of all Jamaicans, and the dignity of all Jamaicans include that they have some form of identification as required.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We do have significant ground to cover today. So,
people, yo, you guys just scroll back to the video where I addressed Marv when I addressed Nationwide, right? Scroll back to that video and listen to what Andrew Holness said October 24th, 2025 about ID and humanitarian aid and relief. And listen to Andrew Holness now, walking it back. Walking it back. Say him never them not give no directive. If you ever see Isaac Buchanan face, Isaac Buchanan is on record saying that him get a mandate to do that. So I like Isaac Buchanan to tell Andrew, wow. Wow. Yo!
I'm going to ask that the Minister of Water as well.
So hold on, let me
for quicker
Minister of Water.
Government with the GCS and other funding bodies.
I don't want to hear this. This is one of the press conference this morning already. I don't want to hear this. People, me I go end my life, you know. When you can go over to Mystic Sensation and go listen to the rest of this. Me not spend and waste no more time for Andrew Holness. Nah do it. Me I go about my business. This a joke thing. This a joke thing. First them say it is false and no go so. Now them can't blurt not saying false, you know. Now them will come and tell me say, oh, you know, we never give out no directive, you know. Let me play it before me go. Let me play it before me go. For those, because I know say somebody might watch this video and go, what is somebody here talk about? Right? Let me show you, but let me make you listen to what Andrew Holness said out of his own mouth, ladies and gentlemen, in a press conference before the storm or the quote event occurred. Zine, let me go to it. Alright? Which one of them? Oh, where are they? Nationwide. See it, yeah? Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, some time ago I did a video talking about ID and TRN for aid. And it has come to my attention that Nationwide allegedly called my name and said that I lied about what the Prime Minister said. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to carry to Exhibit A when it comes to what the Prime Minister said about humanitarian aid and identification. This video was October 24th, 2025 on the JIS website, 24th of October 2025. Listen to what he said.
We launch the government will launch a very comprehensive humanitarian and recovery strategy after the event. But for that to work effectively,
yes,
the beneficiaries,
yes,
the people who would require support and assistance must have identification.
Oh.
There is a view that because it is a disaster,
yes,
all the rules are suspended.
Oh.
I hasten to advise everyone, in particular the permanent secretaries, the heads of departments and the accounting officers and the ministers, there is no suspension of accountability rules, even in a disaster. And every dollar that is spent has to be accounted for. The same people who are screaming that we need it now, are the same people who will turn around and say, where did you spend that money? So there is no break in accountability. And we ask the cooperation of our citizens in providing proper identification so we can track where the benefits go. who received the benefits and for what reason. This is also important when it comes.
So, if Nationwide actually said that, only me if you apologize. Information source from him own mouth. Humanitarian relief that includes food, clothing, and shelter. All right? So if the Prime Minister was not cogent and clear, well, not my fault. I will come out a fee mouth. Hello? So don't you dare say I'm lying when I have the facts. You're out of order. Nationwide, they need to come down. Yo, y'all better leave me alone, man. Yeah, y'all better leave me alone, bro. I'm on y'all ass. Pause. Leave me alone, bro. All right? I am going to be listening to the Prime Minister even more keenly now more than ever. I'm going to be looking up the words he says, what it means. I'm going to be scrutinizing every single detail because I am warring against misinformation. This is day 4, ladies and gentlemen. This is day 4. Unbelievable. The man actually come in a parliament, come say that a while ago. And he didn't say that Isaac Buchanan was lying, you know. That never came out of his mouth, you know. But what he said suggests that Isaac Buchanan is lying. Or implements, well, that's not the word, not implement. Yes, it suggests that Isaac Buchanan is lying. Isaac Buchanan came on 3 occasions and mentioned that he got a strict mandate from the STC, the ministry, and the government. And now, I'm telling you something. I'm telling you something. Yo, I'm telling you something. This man here, a wicked man. You hear me I tell you? Real wicked man.